Hey, you guys ever played Halo? Specifically Halo 2? You remember getting the boys together, playing a little Halo 2, setting up the old CRTs, hanging out with the boys, drink a little Mountain Dew, eating a little Cheetos, playing a little Halo, dude? Well, one of my favorite songs from Halo 2 is called Peril, and I'm going to talk about my arrangement of it, the way that I arrange it, and just like the song in general, because I love the song. I've always loved the song. I've always wanted to arrange this piece of music. And it's got some sections that are kind of tricky and kind of unorthodox, so I want to go over those and talk about them. But first, let's just have a little reaction to it, okay? I'll react to it. I'm reacting to it. I love doing reaction videos, guys. They're so fun and cool. One thing I love to react to is the bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. What's cool about it is that it's like bum 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 bum. I love that. The first thing I have to do though is I have to transpose this thing because of the fact that the original key was just like not playable. So the original key is it's freaking F. So as we all know on guitar, like F is no bueno, and that has to do with like the fact that there's like not as many open strings as you could have, and the fact that the root note is going to be a note that's fretted. It has to be fretted. That sucks, okay? So what I ended up finding for this particular song was the tuning that actually ended up working is D, D, okay? So drop D, but then the A is also tuned down to a G to match this G right here. So the key that I actually ended up putting this thing in is G. Now I have an open G right now, so that works out great. So for the purpose of this video, I have to make sure this song matches my guitar so I can play along to it. So I'm going to use this fun little app I got called Transpose, and I got to make it so the beginning note of this matches that note right there. So right now we're getting dun 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 dun. So I just have to come up. What is that, like a whole step? Let's try that out. Transpose up 2. How's that sound? Perfect. Okay. Now we're in sync here, all right? Hey, let me just interrupt myself real quick and say that if you're somebody who wants to get super sick at solo guitar arranging, maybe you want to work with me personally, I actually give away my ear training app totally for free to people that book a call with me. Now, this is like a chill call. Basically, it's one-on-one. We see where you're at with arranging, where you want to go, what kind of songs you want to do. If it's a good fit, I'll ask you to join my program. If not, it's totally cool. But there's a link down in the description if you want to check that out. There's a short explainer video. Give it a watch. See what you think. Okay, back to me. So what I actually thought was going on with the bass isn't actually happening. Something slightly different is happening, which is pretty cool. Have a listen to me play it. The notes in the bass are jumped a little bit earlier. They're going bum 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 bum. So some of the notes correspond and some of them don't. So if I play it slow, so we got the melody stuff happening. I guess maybe you wouldn't even call it a melody at this point, but you got the top stuff happening at the same time as the bass, then another bass note in the middle, and then 2 of those higher notes. So it sounds like this. Same time and separate. So right there near the middle of the measure, you're getting all of the notes at once, and then aside from that one spot, everything else is happening on their own, which I think is pretty cool. Let's keep listening. I love that. Then it does a little dancey thing. So that much right there, this is what I worked out. So I actually have to look at the tab. Okay, we go. So I'm now big huge stretch here, right? Because the only way to grab this note is the pinky up here. So right? And having to do all of these notes at the same time is pretty tricky. So I'll play through it again. So we go. Now, these little motifs were pretty hard to work out, but I feel like I found a way that's okay. It's very difficult to do unless my hand is already down there. So at this particular spot, we've got then I got this note again, I got the bass note again, but then I have to get over here. So what I worked out was this. Check this out. I think this is pretty cool. I got my third finger up here. I hit this, and then the second time I hit that bass note, I'm going to use a different finger. And that sets me up so I can use 1 and 3 to take care of that. Now, a lot of times, people don't realize that just because a note is being played over and over again, you don't need to play it with the same finger. And sometimes it's advantageous to play it with a different finger. So, right? Switch. Keeps going. Right? Now, check out this little melody that comes in. I actually had a really hard time getting this in. So I actually wasn't really able to get it in all the way. I didn't want to sacrifice the bass. I didn't want to change the bass. I wanted to keep that bum 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 bum. I wanted to keep that high stuff. And so, as far as this arrangement goes, this is the part I'm actually least satisfied with. It's this. So it starts out here. So you can kind of hear it buried in there, but it is buried in there. Usually when a new, melodic line happens or something important happens, I usually try my best to push it into the forefront. But in this case, I just didn't want to sacrifice the bass or that, that part still feels kind of like the main part to me. So there's a lot of movement happening in here just to actually make it smoother. So a lot of times, I would rather have more difficulty spread out over a whole measure than have just one big shift that's really, really difficult. Usually that big shift is going to suffer in some way. So think of it like this. If I had the choice between having some really easy stuff and then something really, really hard versus everything being kind of medium difficulty, kind of hard, but nothing is a huge difficulty spike, I would rather take that one. And for me, that's this, okay? I'm here, big stretch, right? I have to move to the bar here, and then I have to move to the 2. So I have the fingers available to do this little guy. So this happens again. And then it gets easy for a second. So let's listen along. Right? Kind of chills out a little bit here. And then same part from before, but higher. And we got a whole different section, okay? We're gonna get to that in a second. But I wanted to go over this higher part because actually I think it might be my favorite part of the tune when it goes up to the higher melody. So again, it gets easy for a second first. Kind of similar to the intro. Then we're here. Wait, what are we doing? Hold on. We're going, right? That stuff is pretty tricky, but surprisingly, everything worked out pretty freaking well. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. Check it out. So we got, right? I got open D here, which is really nice. I can slap my first finger down here. Now there's a big, huge shift I gotta do, but it's only on one string, so it's not so bad. And because of the fact that I'm in a key that allows the root of the song to be open, I can easily shift around. So when I'm here, I can go down and hit this, and then use this to come back up. Now, this part in particular, this was definitely took a little bit of extra practice, but it's more of a coordination thing. It's actually not that difficult, but one of the most important things that I'm doing here is called a hinge bar, okay? So when I get to here, right there, look what happens to my index finger, right? It actually comes off the fretboard, but this part of the finger is still right? It's still holding down that 3rd fret there. And then it has to close back up again. So this whole section sounds like this. I go down, come back up. Oops. Down, up. Okay, so now we're into this cool new section with these chords. I'm gonna play it for you first. Okay, so it sounds like this. Coming up. We got a lot of stuff going on here, right? Got those strings hammering. We got these like choir voices in the background. We got the bum bum, bum bum, bum bum. And it just feels like this build, right? And then we come out. So that section right there with all the chords, I'm gonna show you what I worked out, all right? So these chords are very strange, but what I like about them is the voice leading in between them. The individual chords are not what's cool about this. What's cool is the individual chords are not what's rad about this to me. It's the way that the chords are linked together and how they're often changing like one note at a time while other notes stay the same. So I'm starting out here. Come up here. But you get it, right? And then the big build. And then we go. No, it gets really high up in the fretboard here, right? It goes, for me, it goes all the way to 17. And actually, it ends up going to 18. So. Right? It's this huge freaking build. And that section right there specifically. Took me a really long time to record. It was just very difficult, and my left hand got very tired because I kept screwing it up. And a lot of times when I record, it's funny, like, you know, with something like this, I don't have it ready to play live. I've only got it ready to record, and ultimately I edit my recordings and everything quite a bit. So, you know, newsflash, okay, you're not hearing full playthroughs of what I'm doing. I record the audio, then I record the video after. But when I try to record and I play a section over and over again, I actually get worse at it. It's funny. It's like the opposite of what happens when I practice. When I practice, I can relax, I can chill out. I'm not so concerned with the result of the motions that I'm doing. I'm more concerned with how does it feel, how's the sound coming out in relation to the way that my hands are feeling. But when I record, I'm trying so hard to control. I'm trying so hard to make each take perfect, or make each little section perfect, that I start to over control. I get tense and everything, and the playing starts to suffer a little bit. So I'm still working on that with the recording phase. But yeah, that section freaking sucked for recording. Now, in the piece, the next section we got is this. Right? So it's that high stuff again. It goes up high, keeps going. I love that. Got those voices trailing in the background. And then it all goes away for a second. And then these long lines. I really like how that section actually ended up laying out on the fretboard. Specifically, after I go up here, what's nice is I can bar all these things. And there's a little bit of extra note material in here compared to what was happening before. I got these octaves in here, okay? And what's nice, this bass note right here, it's already right here. It's already right here under my fingers. So I can go. And then what's nice again is that because of the fact that, you know, our root note, I transposed this thing. Now it's open. I get right back to here really easily, right? So I go. I love that move right there. I love going to that chord there. It feels so sweet amidst this energy and this this chaos. It feels like an arrival point there. So we got this. Check this out. We got massive stretch right here, right? And really important. Listen to the bass line here. Really cool the way that the rhythm of that bass and the notes of it, obviously too, but the interplay between when the bass notes are happening and when the high up guitar stabs are happening, I think is really cool. And you got to do a big jump here. So I'm here. I'm way the hell up there, right? I'm way the hell up. Come down, come back up. I love that part too. So yeah, for a second, everything sort of goes away before we get moving again, right? We got this little, and I think it goes down there, right? It kind of trails off. I'm gonna play that again. Okay, boom. Count, we're back into the more intro-y section right here. And then back to the chords, the repeating chords. But there's more elements in it this time, right? It's the strings, it's the voices. You got a more persistent bass line here. Almost sounds like an electric bass part. Boom, boom. And the energy just keeps building, keeps building. You got that bum bam, bum bam, bum bam, bum bam, bum bam. Just keeps going and going and going. And I love the way it ends. Check it out. Thank God. That's the perfect way to end it, right? No resolve, just up in the air. I think that's perfect. That's one of my favorite ways, of ending a piece of music. So a lot of times with certain chords, I'll preemptively, put a note down that I know I don't actually need in that chord, just in case I actually make a mistake. And in this section, when I'm doing this right here for the right hand, being really accurate with the right hand becomes pretty difficult. So it's important to make sure that the notes of my chord are all consonant. To make sure that, like, if I accidentally hit something wrong, a finger slightly slips and hits the wrong string, it's not going to screw everything up. So I'm here, right? So instead of just putting this down, if I accidentally hit this note, I'm in trouble, right? But if I have this down and I accidentally hit it at any point, it's not ruined, right? And then I end just like that. And of course on my DAW here, I got some nice reverb and everything. I verb that boy up and it sounds real good. Now that's Halo 2, Peril. Again, this is like one of my favorite Halo tunes of all time. Marty O.D., that's his name, right? Marty O'Donnell. Just an absolute gangster of a composer. And, I adore everything this dude has ever written. And of course, Peril, no exception, dude. Hey, it's me again. Don't click away, okay? If you're somebody who wants to get sick at solo guitar arranging, maybe you want to make your own YouTube channel with guitar covers, or maybe you want to, play them on stage, or, maybe you want to just play them in your room for your cat or whatever. That's totally fine. There's a link down below that you can click that will take you to a short explainer video and tell you about how you can get super sick at guitar arranging, okay? Go ahead and give it a click, bro. Check it out.